268 questions. None. Everybody understands this. We'll have a test next week. We should probably just have it today, shouldn't we?
Yeah, sure.
I ran it off this morning.
I'm down.
Take the
Yeah,
test
I'm
today.
down. Get it over with.
I'd rather get it over with than do it next week.
Hey, it's another test we don't have to take next week. Facts.
Exactly.
Right.
Dude, he's
Ah.
gonna come on. Big facts, bro.
Yeah, I'll do
Test.
No questions on 268. The next section. We should be able to get through this, and we're going to work them through together until I get annoyed and everybody's not helping. Then on the homework I'm talking about, we'll work through all the problems together until I get annoyed and nobody's helping, nobody's actually doing what they should be doing. Colby's just sitting over there just writing down the answers every time. Then I'm going to start doing stuff like this. I'm going to, just so I can watch and see who's doing it, I'm going to say, the answer is $7.80, and I'm going to do this to you that I've done in the past. The answer is $7.80, and I'm going to write down $9.50, and just see how many of the goofballs that aren't listening and aren't paying attention write down the wrong answer, so I can make fun of them. Right, Ben? See, he doesn't have any idea. He wasn't paying attention.
He's probably
Sale-
having a concussion, okay?
Sale price. This is sort of the same stuff that we've been doing. We actually did this on the computer setup last time. So figuring out a sale price. Sale price is just the regular selling price of an item minus the discount or the markdown of the price. We did this again. Some of the problems that we did last time, we did this when we were doing the computer stuff. As far as the videos go, if you can't hear the audio on the video, I think you can figure it out. But if you can't, some of the stuff we do in here, if you read the book, there's only like 1 or 2 pages per section. You guys are smart enough that if you read through and look at the book, can you figure it out even out without my videos?
No.
Probably.
I think you can.
I like hearing your voice.
That,
When
I
your mic's not
appreciate
here.
that.
When your mic's not here.
Who said that, bro?
But when I just had that video from last time on, the audio seemed to work fine. I don't know, it's just something you'll have to play with on your computers if that's the way it... I've not had any trouble for a while. I mean, I understand it sounds muffled because I'm talking through this mask. Just takes a little more focus. That might be hard for some of you, I guess, to...
The computer's audio is trash.
That's probably true. I mean, it's...
You have to put it up to you.
That's where it might be best to, that's why they want you to have headphones or earbuds or whatever, right? So that if it's right there in your ear and you can't hear all the other stuff,
I can bring in a good microphone for us.
well, that's a good microphone. It's just when you're playing it back. Now, I don't have any problem if I'm using, instead of using a laptop, if I'm using my actual base computer, I don't have any problem hearing the audio. So be able to compute the sale price. We talked about markdown rates and stuff last time. There's 2 different ways. This book teaches it one way. And I'm going to show you both ways to do this. You pick out which way you want to do. It doesn't matter to me. But they give these formulas. So this is one set of formulas, one way to do it, and then I'll show another way, and that's probably the way that most of you, maybe if you're dealing with sell prices that you've done in the past, the way I'm going to show you, the other way I'm going to show you. I don't care which way you do it, it makes no difference. So the sale price is the regular selling price, whatever the regular price is, minus the markdown. This is where it's different. This second formula here, what they do, percent paid. So instead of figuring out how much off you're going to get, they figure out how much, what percentage of the regular price you're actually going to pay. It doesn't, either way, doesn't take any more or any less work. They're both the same. It's just this way, you're subtracting the percentages first, then doing the multiplication. The other way, the way that I'll show you here in a second that we did last time and that you've probably gotten used to doing, is you would do the multiplication first, then subtract. This might be the better way to do it just because I've seen students in the past, and once they figure out, if we do it the other way, once they figure out the amount off, they think that's their final answer, and that's not the case. That's not how much the item is going to cost you, all right? So you got to make sure that you're not writing down the wrong thing.
So these are 3 formulas we can use.
You can. This is one setup.
This is one big formula.
Well, sort of, not, I don't want to say one big formula, but this is one setup to do it. So let's make up something just to do it here, just to show you. If we had, I don't know, give me a price of a item, $1. So if we got something that cost $1, all right? Give me a percent that we're going to take off of that. 1%. Give me something else. 5%. So it's got a 5% markdown. All right? And we want to figure out how much that item is going to cost us after that 5% markdown. So we're looking at this. We want to know the sale price. That's what we're trying to find. So it's the regular selling price, which we know is $1, minus the markdown. Well, we don't know the markdown yet because we haven't figured it out. So we do these two things to find out the markdown. Actually, one of them. Percent paid, we normally would pay 100% for the item, but we're taking off what percent? So what's 100% minus 5%? That means we're paying 95% of the total cost, of the actual cost. All right, so we're paying 95% of the cost. So to find the sale price, we take the percent paid, which is 95%, and we times it by the regular selling price, which was $1, and that's going to give us the sale price. What do we got to do to 95% before we can multiply? What is it? 0.95. Somebody help me out. What's 0.95 times $1? 0.95. So this normal.
Why didn't you pull up my
Yeah,
calculator?
that's what I say.
So this normal item that we would pay $1 for, if it's got a 5% markdown, how much are we going to pay for it now? 95 cents. So in this method, what you're doing, instead of just looking at the percent off, you're finding the actual percent that you're going to pay. How much, what percentage of the whole price are you going to pay? And that's it's sort of confusing because that's, I don't know, maybe you guys, it's not confusing. To me, it's confusing because that's not the way I learned how to do, if I go in and I see items 25% off, I start thinking, all right, what's 25% of this amount? And then I know to go back and subtract that from the original price. That's like the normal way to do it. This is just a different way to do it that is confusing to me, but when we got here, when we did our 2 pieces of math, we got the final answer and we were done. Instead of, sometimes when you do it, doing it the other way, you've got to go back and subtract to get your final answer. And that, a lot of times, students get confused. So these are the other ways. Sale price, again, is regular price minus markdown, that's the same. But to find the markdown, we take the percent off times the regular price. This is probably, I see Nathan back there shaking his head, this is probably the way that you've thought of it in the past. So if we were going to do our problem that we just got done doing on the other one, on this one, the sale price we don't know, the regular price was $1. The markdown we don't know. But to find the markdown, we take the percent off. What was our percent that we were taking off? Times the regular selling price, which is $1. What do you got to do to the 5%? So what's it come out to be as a decimal? 0.05, please make sure you remember that. Don't put the, again, stop putting the 0 in front of the decimal. It doesn't do anything except confuse everybody. Somebody help me out, what's 0.05 times 1? 0.05. So that's telling us our markdown. How much are we marking this item down? Explain that to me, 0.05, how much are we marking it down? 5 cents. So now we go back up here and we're going to subtract off the 5 cents. What's $1 minus the 5 cents? So what's our selling price or our sale price? 95 cents. You're still doing the same thing. You're doing, whether you're doing the other one or this one, you're subtracting and multiplying. You're just doing them in a different order. All right? So whichever way is easiest for you to remember, do it that way. This is probably the way that I would do it because that's the way I learn. Again, the bad thing with this method is I've seen a lot of students in the past, and I know Elijah's going to say, oh, I'd never do that. They get this number right here, that nickel.
They say that's the answer.
They say that that's the sell price. They think that, oh, I'm going to go up there and they're going to give it to me for a nickel. No, that's how much off you're getting. All right, so make sure you go back and do this. The regular selling price of a truck is $18,540. The markdown rate is 18%. What is the sale price? How about your calculator so you can help us here? I don't care which way we do it. Do we want to subtract off the percents first, or do we want to find the markdown and then subtract that off? First way or second way?
Second.
Second way? All right, so if we do the second way, we're going to take $18,540 and we're going to times it by what? Ignore that. 0.18. How about your calculator so you can do that? Say it louder for me.
3,337.2.
Now if it's 0.2, what are we going to put here on the end? Ignore that, that's not supposed to be there. What's $3,337.20? You just did the mistake.
Exact same thing that you just said not to do.
This is how much all we're getting. So what do we have to do with that?
Decimal, right?
No.
So we're getting how many dollars off?
3,337.26. Our total sale.
How do we find the total, or the final sale price
So
then?
we just subtract.
18. I don't know, we'll find out here in a second. So you did it the other way, and we'll see. $18,540, and we're gonna subtract off what?
3,337.26.
What's that give us?
$15,202.80.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
So how much is that truck gonna cost us? Now, again, I see why the book does this, because even after we just said, make sure that this isn't your answer, that's not what, your answer is. A lot of people stop right there and think that that's their answer. Hey, I've done the hard work here, I've done the multiplying, that's my answer. That's not it. So, maybe the other way is better. If we do the other way, we take 100% minus 18%. What's 100% minus 18%? 82%. So we're only going to pay 82% of what the cost was. So then we take that 82 and we times it by the 18,540. What do you got to do to the 82 before you do that though? 0.82. What's that give you? Same thing. And then that's your final answer. So maybe this method is, you're not doing any more work, whichever method you're using. Maybe this method is better so that you make sure that you're not putting down the wrong answer. You're not stopping too soon. So subtract the percents first, then do the multiplying. That might be a better way to do it. Colby, anything sinking in that head? Look in your eyes and see. Looks like you're. I worry sometimes. That's the assignment. Get your books out. Have your calculators out. Oh, nothing against Haley. Since I see Haley's phone laying here on her desk, a couple of things. If I get one more email from Mr. Eiler, or one more anything from Mr. Eiler about phones, I am going to be a complete and total jerk for the rest of the year. And if I see a phone, I'm going to take it. I don't care if you're taking it from one pocket and sticking it in the other. Right now, I'm not worried about it, Tyler. When I get that next email, though, saying that people are doing stupid stuff with them, whatever they're doing, I don't know, and I don't care. People are doing stupid stuff with them here at school, then,
Are you at least gonna give us a heads up when you get another?
yeah, when I get that other email.
That's
Yeah,
all.
I have
that's
that.
gotta ruin
Were
everything.
you listening?
It was,
No, I just said it. I said, I don't care what the stupid stuff was, I don't want to know.
yeah, they gotta ruin everything.
Thank you.
They are stupid.
That might be.
My brother's in the class on the phone.
To blame it on everybody else.
be big stupid like that over there.
Right. No, we're gonna work it together.
Oh, we're putting it together? Oh, okay. I thought it was-
So, how about your books? Books open to 271. We'll work it together. Again, we'll work it together until I get annoyed. Nobody's helping. I think I gotta add a few slides here. Unless you guys don't want to work it together, do you want to work alone? What was that?
Together.
It's up to you.
Work it together.
Late.
I don't know if we're working it out. If you look there.
You want to sit over there by yourself? Wait, I thought I had Oh.
Number one, somebody read it to me.
Regular selling price of a pair of men's jeans is $37.99. Markdown rate is 20%.
So, are we gonna subtract the percents first? Is that what we decided? That's better to do it that way?
The second one.
The second way is,
Yeah.
is that the way we wanna do it?
Yeah.
And we're gonna remember that when we get that first answer, that's not our final answer.
Yeah.
Alright?
Wait, how are we doing it?
They're saying doing it the other way.
You multiply then subtract.
This?
It's easier.
Yeah, and less work.
They're both the same amount of work. You're doing two steps.
I think it's easier.
What do you read?
The second one.
Got this answer in like 12 seconds.
Now, I think Ben is right. Well, sorta. I'm trying to think how punching into a calculator.
All you gotta do is just.
Which way is the
like,
easiest?
You can do the percent in your head and then just type it in real quick. That way.
Does that make sense? So let's try it that way. Let's try a couple of them this way, then if you guys don't like it, we'll do the second way. Alright? So what Ben's saying is, what's 100% minus 20%?
80%.
80%. So we're gonna take that 80% and we're gonna do what with it? Make a .80, and then do what with it? Multiply it to the regular price, right? 30 what? 33. 39. Is that our answer?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I was thinking the other way.
Now, if we did it the other way, 37, and I'm going to do this one, and then I'm not going to do the next ones the other way. If we did it the other way, 37.99 times .20. Somebody help me out. What's that? So 7.60, right? Use some common sense. I know, Noah, sometimes when I say this is hard. Use some common sense. There's a pair of jeans. They're $38, and they're 20% off. Are they going to sell them to you for $7.60? No. All right? This is what Ebersole pays for his jeans, not you guys. All right? I pay this for my jeans just because my wife will buy them when I'm not there. Otherwise, I would be at the Goodwill store buying them for like $4. All right? So, just common sense, know, hey, I'm not gonna get a $40 pair of jeans for $7 if they're only 20% off. If they were, you know, if you were at some consignment store or something where, or like a Goodwill store where things are 80, 90% off, then maybe. Number two, what's number two say?
Regular selling price of a computer is $229.99. The markdown rate is 30%.
So if the markdown rate's 30%, what percentage are we paying of the?
70.
So 70%. So I'm going to take this number right here and I'm going to multiply it by what? 0.70 or just 0.7. You don't really need the O there, but you can put it on there if you want. What's that give you? 230.99. Everybody agree with that? 230.99. Space line somewhere. Number three, just as easy.
Yeah.
Somebody read it to me. I'm just trying to make sure I got enough space to.
For its back to school sale, Regus books marked down the entire stock with classic novels of 60%. And for PM 16 Saturday, their sale price during this time is $12.99. Well, it looks like it's PM for 16.
So this one, that sounds a little confusing.
So it is time to lose it, it's just.
We'll do regular selling price, we have to 6 p.m.
So, $12.99.
So this is the sale price, right?
Yeah.
They're telling us this time, they're telling us the sale price. They're saying, you go in there during this sale time and you can buy the book for $12.99 and that's 60% off. How can we find the regular price?
Did they lie? I don't know.
If we go
It's
back-
opposite of multiply.
Right, that's the opposite of multiplying, right? So if we go back to the formulas here, the sale price is the regular price minus the markdown. Well, we don't know the markdown,
So it's percent off times the regular price.
but that's percent off times the regular price, right? So we could stick this right in there, regular price minus percent off times the regular price. Somebody remember that for me? So we can go back to the slide that we're on. What percent off are they?
60,
So,
12.99,
so regular price, we don't know the regular price, do we? Sale price, sale equals regular minus percent times regular, right? That was the formula. What is the sale price?
12.99. X.
Regular price, we don't know. I'm gonna use R, is that all right?
Yeah.
Just so we know that that
Then
stands
we'll
for regular.
subtract it by 60.
Do we know the percent off?
60.
So 0.60 times R. This is like having a 1R here. What's 1 minus 0.60? 0.40. What are you gonna do to solve for R there?
Divide both.
So just divide by 0.4. So Elijah was correct. That's all you're doing is divide there, right? What's 12.99 divided by 0.4?
32.97.
Say it again.
32.47.
What's 32.47?
Because of the books without the sale.
That's the regular selling price, right?
Yeah.
So this is the regular price. I don't know, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Let's see. The regular selling price is that. The sale price was this. Does that make sense? If you're getting a book for about $13, when it's on sale 60% off, 60% is more than 50%, right? So more than half off. So if it was $13, just rounding, trying to think it through here, if it was $13 and this was 50%, what would the regular price be? 26. It'd be double that, right? So if it's $12.99 and it was 60% off, does it make sense that the regular price is about $32?
No.
Yeah,
Wait, it does?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, wait, never mind.
26 isn't that far from 32, right? I mean, now if we'd said 320 or something like that, then that's awful high up there.
I was thinking something else.
That's the regular price. Now, probably, again, out in the real world, out in your regular life, are you actually going to sit here and figure all this out?
No.
No, this is what I would do. I'm thinking, all right, should I go? I'm driving down the road and I got 6 million things to do. Dang, I got to go buy that book. Well, if I go buy it now before 6 o'clock, it's going to be $12.99. But I want to stop and do these other things first. And I got to make that decision on what I'm going to do first. I would look at something like this and say, okay, it's going to cost me about $13 if I get there right now. If it was 50% off, it's going to cost me about $26 if I get there after 6 o'clock. And I would make my decision from something like that saying, do I want to save that $13? And for me, it'd probably be, heck yeah, I want to save that $13 because that's quite a bit of money for me. Next question. 4 is that next one?
Yeah. So we're finding the percent off and the percent
Is this one of those charts or something? Or is it just, okay. So we're doing a part A and part B on this. What do they tell us?
Frank Boy bought a recyclable lantern that regularly sells for $29.99. The markdown rate was 30%.
30%? So part A, they want the percent off, so they're saying that we have to do it Ben's way. What's the percent off?
30%.
No, I'm sorry. Is that what they want? What'd they say, part A?
It says just use the different methods. So like, are we just doing it and then putting the same answer?
Oh, so they want you to use both answers, so the heck with that. Let's
But
just,
aren't
let's
both-
just do one
aren't
answer.
both answers gonna be the same?
The same thing, they should be the same thing. So let's, we'll just find one answer and that's all we'll do. So, are we still using the, subtracting the percents first? Does everybody think that's easier, or do we want to go the other route? So, what is 70%? What are we gonna do with that 70%? Turn it into a decimal, 0.70, times it by what? 29.99. Before you do this, when I'm looking at this, again, if I'm out in the store, I'm probably not grabbing my handy dandy calculator out of my pocket that all math teachers carry. I don't carry a calculator around with me. Okay? I don't even know where the calculator is on my phone, so I can't use that either.
Find it, put it on the home screen.
I don't want it on there because I don't like those calculators. But if I'm looking at this, and I know it's 70% of $29.99, that's about $30. That's a nice even number. For every $10 I'm getting 30% of that off, right? So when I think of this, I'm thinking for every $10, I'm paying 70% of it. What's 70% of $10? 7. So for every $10, I'm paying $7. How in $30, how many sets of 10s do we have? So what's 3 times 7?
Anyway.
So if I'm out in the real world, I'm thinking to myself, this item ought to cost me about $21 when I get up there. All right? Somebody do the multiplication for us. What's it come out to be? 20.99? Wow. My estimate was really, really close, wasn't it? My wife probably give me a kiss or something because I was so close when I made that estimate for her.
What, does your wife not kiss you any other time?
Yeah. Only when I do things right.
And that's the last time you did something right.
And that's been a while.
Anyway. This is, I want you guys to go to it, just please slide over.
Number 5, what's number 5 say?
Jennifer Ford purchased a compact stereo that regularly sells for $229.99.
99 cents again?
Yeah. More than rate of 53%.
Ooh, this is a little tougher.
It's a big,
47.
So, 53%, again, if I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about it, I'm probably rounding that off to 50%, and I'm thinking it's going to be about half of it. And I'll probably round this to 230 and say, what's half of 230? About $115. So this item should cost me about $115. Now, this is something you need to know because when you go to these stores and they punch all this stuff, they got some manager. Has anybody ever seen the managers at some of these stores?
feel like, yeah.
That they're managers just because they haven't found any other jobs and they've worked there so long. All right, I apologize because some of you may end up being managers, but
My favorite thing
That's-
is seeing
that's the-
managers that are like 16.
that's
I'm already a
And then
manager.
all the staff
Are
are
you?
like way older
There's a
than
dude
them.
that's in
see, and that's the thing.
I worked there for 2 months, and they already put me in a manager position.
There's a dude at Sunoco that has a calculator. Because he's that good. He's done it for 20 years.
So
It's an issue.
some of these guys, they're the ones that program the computers and say, okay, this item's going to be in here for this now. This item's going to be in here for this. It's 53% off. I don't know that I would always trust that. Especially, my wife likes to go and buy the Christmas stuff after Christmas when it's marked down 40%, 50%, whatever. And you get up front there, and does it always ring up that way? No. And we walked out. We were at Kmart or somewhere down by Dayton Mall. And we walked out, and she's looking at her bill, and she goes, yeah, that one didn't ring up as 50% off. That one didn't ring up as 50% off. There's like 4 or 5 items on there that they hadn't punched into the computer correctly.
Usually we
To
just
ring
say
off.
something and they do it for us.
Right. If we would have said something before we walked out, we probably wouldn't have had a big deal, but I'm not that type of person. I was like, no, let's go.
How much would you use it?
Probably not very much.
If they say no, I don't complain.
I mean, it might have been, but not enough
Just
for me
doing their
to want to
job.
walk back in there and
Oh,
deal
I
with it.
wouldn't go back in.
So this, 47%, what are we going to do with that 47%? 0.47, multiply it. Again, our answer should be somewhere around 115.
108.10.
Anybody else get that? So how much is that stereo? Was it a stereo?
Yeah.
How much is that stereo going to cost? $108.10. Now, if we walk up there with $110, are we going to be able to pay for it?
No, because tax.
We're going to have to pay taxes, right?
Yeah, probably will spend like that.
Unless for some reason, Quentin's got him a farm and he's tax exempt, and he can prove somehow how this stereo is used for his farm.
My guys be bopping.
The chickens like the music.
The chickens, it makes the chickens lay eggs better,
Oh,
so.
yeah.
puts them in a
Scare
better
him
mood.
with some death metal.
Next question.
Don't you see him headbanging all the time, dog?
You're right, they
Hey,
do.
32% marked down. Regular price is
$39.99.
Yeah. That's 33%.
33. 33%. What's 33% as a fraction? 1/3. So when we're doing this, I notice this too, they use 33% a lot. That's 1/3. This is an easy number to split into thirds. What's a third of 3? 1. What's a third of 9? 3. What's a third of 9? So it's 13.33. So $13.33 is 1/3. We're actually going to pay, instead of 1/3, we're going to pay 67%, which is 2/3. So our answer should be somewhere real close to double that 13.33, which is 26.66. Somebody do the multiplying for us. What is it? 26.70 what? 9? Number 7, what's it say?
Mary West.
26.79.
Mary West new carpet sweeper regularly sells for $239.99, but it had a 25% markdown.
So what percent is she actually paying? So 0.75. Somebody do that for us. Does everybody agree with that? Does that make sense? This is about 240. 25% is like a fourth, right? If you have 240, if you just have 24, what's a fourth of 24? What times 4 will give you 24? 6. So 240, a fourth of 240 is 60. So we're saying we're taking about $60 off. Is this about $60 off? Yeah.
I didn't really do that, but I should question myself.
Number 8. I know, but I want you to be able, because you're not going to carry that. Number 1, I think, did you go back there and borrow one of my calculators?
Yeah.
So you're not going to carry a calculator around with you, so you've got to be able to do some of this here.
Shoe store has more down men's work and outdoor boots, 25% variance per sale. What is the sale price of the pair of boots is the regular price of $149.
Again, 25% off. What's our percent that we're paying? 75. Multiply that. $112. What? 0.49. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, do this for me just real quick, and then we'll go on to the next one. Somebody do 149.99 times 0.25.
37.49.
Again, going back, if we were doing it the other way, we get to this point, might some of you think that that's your final answer? Yeah, and that worries me. All right, so maybe the way the book's teaching it is the best way. Yeah, so then if we got that answer, we'd have to do what with it? Subtract it from 149.99, and that would give us this answer. Number 9, what's it say?
During August back to school sale, the Princess Sunboy shop marked down its cereal powered by 30%. Lux and cereal were regularly priced at $5.95 each.
So if it's 30% off, what percent are we paying?
7.
525?
Yeah, she's right,
4.16,
yeah.
so $4.16.
I think I pressed subtractions.
Yeah, it's 4.1.
Oh, is it 4.17? It's number 10, say.
Number 10 has G's appliances marked down a 25.5 cubic foot side by side refrigerator that originally sold for $2,198. 12% during sale.
12%?
I said the kitchen cabinets that originally sold for $1,499.50 on sale.
What percent off? 15?
And ask for a total markdown amount and sales price.
So we got two different parts here. The refrigerator's 12% off. The cabinets are 15% off. So we're gonna do $24.98 times what? Times 0.88. What's that give us? 0.24. And then $14.99.50 times what? 0.85.
1,200 or 1,274.5.
What do we want on the end out there?
0.
Now, how are we gonna find their total bill?
Add it.
Add those two together,
It's 1,274.57.
5.7.
Oh, yeah, that's 5.7.
5.7. What's the total? That's 3,000 something.
3,472.81.
Now that's one of our answers. They wanted the total markdown also. How can we find the total markdown? This is the bad thing about doing it this way. If they want the total markdown, we can't find it doing it this way, or we didn't find it doing it this way. But what we can do is we can go back and add these two. Somebody add those two together for us. There's two parts, Elijah.
The answer you just got
That one?
is B.
The one you added together?
I got it. Okay.
What's that add together to be?
3,997.50.
This is what they would cost us at regular price. This is what they cost us when they were on sale. How can we figure out how much markdown there was? Subtract those two.
I'll show you this.
Somebody subtract those two for us.
1124.69.
Now to help Jaylen out before she starts punching Elijah, this is the answer to part A. This is the answer to part B.
Which one would be?
3,472.81. I believe, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Number 11.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
with the A, B, and a C.
There's an A, B, and a C on this one.
For what? Office Products has a box of 250 binder clips on sale for $9.99. The list price is $10.90. If you buy 4 boxes, what are the A sale price, B amount you have, and C total price? Purchase price.
Let's just do one part at a time. What's part A say again?
So first.
So what's the sale price? So I'm guessing they're just wanting the sale price of all of this, right? Well, they already told you they're on sale for $9.99 and you're buying 4 boxes. How you gonna find that total price? $9.99 times 4, what's that give us? $39.96. So that's the answer to A. Now B, what's it want?
Where am I at?
Nathan got off track already.
No, you said.
The amount that you saved.
Yeah.
So to find the amount that we saved, and we could actually do this a little easier way this time, we'd have to find out the total amount that we would have paid if they weren't on sale, right? But looking at this, what do you know?
What's it called?
It's $1 each box. So if there's 4 boxes, how much money did you save? $4. This time it works out pretty easy because you're just saving $1 a box. What's part C asking?
Total purchase price of the sales tax is 6.75.
So now they're adding on the sales tax. 6.5, is that what you said?
6.75.
6.75% sales tax. What do we gotta do to that percentage? What's it become? We're gonna take that .0675. How much were the boxes of whatever they are gonna cost us? $39.96. What are we gonna do with those two? Multiply them.
2.69.
So 2.70.
Yeah.
What's 2.70?
Take off.
The tax.
That's how much tax. Now, be careful here. So do we go back down, subtract that from this? You add it to it. Tax is added. So you gotta know when you're taking something away, when you're adding something on.
42.66.
So we take $39.96 and we add on the 270. And what'd you say it was?
42.66.
42.66. Number 12, what's it say?
Wait,
Yep.
on 10,
Uh-huh.
how'd you get, that one?
Oh, I added the 2 original prices. So what they would have cost us if they weren't on sale.
Pizza Shack discounts the regular selling price and purchase of regular more pizzas by 15%. What is the sale price if we will purchase of 3 pizzas that were gonna sell for $9.75, $15.75, and $19.75?
Did I write those 3 down correctly? Is that right? What are we gonna do? You order 3 pizzas. Add them all together. Will somebody do that for us? Now, you guys probably don't have to do this, but every time we order pizza, like you said, 45.25. Every time we order pizza at my house, there's like 6 different pizzas. Because we have so many people in my family and everybody eats about one themselves. That would be our normal price. What are we gonna do with that? Are we gonna multiply by 0.15?
No.
We could subtract that from 100, like the way we've been doing it, right? What's that give us? 85%, so what are we gonna multiply this by? 0.85.
38.6.
Does it make sense? Your regular bill was gonna be $45. Does it make sense that if they're giving you 15% off, that your bill's gonna be $38? Yeah, that seems to make sense. If you came up with your regular bill was gonna be like $7, something's not right. We on 13?
Yeah.
Did you get it or not?
Yeah.
No. What's 13?
Danny's Department Store advertises savings of 45% to 51% off women's fall collections. Items with original prices of $44, $152 are now $14.95 to $76. Use a percent paid to determine whether this advertisement is correct.
All right, so let's go back. 45 to 51%, right?
Yeah. Are now $14.95 to $76.
14,
Oh wait,
The $44 to 52, 152
are now $14.95 to
is the second one.
14.95,
Say $76.
76,
Yeah.
55,
No, it's just $76.
$76. You ever see, and that's now, you go into Walmart or one of these places and they have those little things on there, right? You ever see those little papers on there and it says, if the item was $12, it's now gonna be this price. If it's this, it's now gonna be this. That's what this is doing. So we're trying to figure out, is this correct? So if it was, let's go with 51% off. If it was 51% off, what percent are we actually paying? 49%. So let's take the lowest price here. 44 times 0.49. 21 what?
56.
That should be our lowest price here on their range, is it? We just took 51% off, that's the highest amount off that we could be taking, right? What's the lowest the price could actually be? 21.56,
So it's not correct.
huh? So it's wrong. So they're putting this on there. Is there anything actually gonna be $15? No, we can't even get down to $15 if you're only taking 51% off,
So you reckon it's not correct?
so it's just not correct. You think stores would ever do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Which one's next?
17.
Oh, that's
No,
okay.
these are
17,
just-
18, or 19 are just subtract.
So 17, you just punch into your calculator and do it? Somebody can say the answer out loud to help everybody out, make sure they get it.
82.80.
Everybody says it all at once, that helps.
So let's say it one more time.
82.88.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to pick up his calculator. 1068. 19, the same kind of setup? What is it?
0.0141.
Was it money to start with?
No, it's just a subtract.
Just subtracting, so we don't round it off, nothing, right there.
It's actual, yeah, it's an actual problem.
Are we on 20?
Yeah.
And it's an actual another word problem?
Yeah. Ray Owens purchased a small canoe that sells for $399.95 in Texas, where the state sales tax is 6.25, county tax is 1.5, and city of sales tax is 0.5. What's the total sales tax amount?
Should we just add up all the taxes?
So we add up all the taxes, how much is that?
8.25.
8.25%.
And then we just do what we normally do.
Now, what'd they ask us for? Did they ask us to find the amount of tax, or did they ask us to find the
It says,
final
what's
price?
the total sales tax amount?
So when you do it like that, like,
You don't have to bump the decimal over yet. That's a good point. When you're adding up all percentages, you don't have to bump the decimals over. When you're doing anything and everything's a percent, you don't have to move the decimals. But then when we take this and we want to start putting it with money, that's when we got to move the decimal. Now, would it hurt anything if you went ahead and moved the decimal first? This might confuse you. All right? So 39.95, and we take it times what?
8.25.
Move the decimal over 0.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
0.8.
0.825.
No, not for this one.
Because this is just tax. 32.99. Now, before I ask the other question I'm getting ready to ask, so we're gonna buy this canoe for $32.99?
That's the tax.
No, this is the amount of
Tax.
tax.
Wait, that's what we added.
Did they ask us for tax?
The question was,
Question was just for how much the tax was? It wasn't for the final price or nothing?
This is for the sales tax.
So what would we do if they did ask us for the final price?
Subtract it by the.
Subtract that.
Ah, come on now, what would you do?
Let's remove it.
Tax.
Add it.
You'd add, right? Please make sure, because I see that all the time. When we take this test next week, taxes added on, discounts are taken off. You gotta make sure you know the difference.